Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 13 of Video Game Club, where every 2 weeks we play and discuss a game voted on by you. I'm Tyler, and I have with me today the man, the myth, the voice of the internet, Austin.
Hello.
Hello, Austin. And of course, it wouldn't be a Video Game Club meeting without the amazing and wonderful Mox.
Hello.
Now, usually I would ask you guys how's it going, but I've been asking you guys that for 12 episodes now, roughly, and I've been getting the same response. So I'm switching it up. Surprise. So
Tyler
we're gonna
doesn't care how we're doing.
That's right. So we're gonna open up with a question suggested from the audience. So someone reached out and wanted to ask this question. So I'll start with you, Austin. What is your favorite Nintendo console, and why is it the Super Nintendo?
That is an excellent question, because it is the Super Nintendo. And I have to say, it's probably because it's the peak of 2D gaming. I'm sure other people have some other... We'll have some examples of other 2D game consoles that might have been a little more powerful, but in terms of just how many games were on there were that was the end of the 2D cycle, and it was the best-selling console of that time. Genesis, it had some good stuff, but Super Nintendo was where my heart was at. Got Mario World, Mario All-Stars had the best version of Mario 3.
Yes, very true.
We got Zelda, Donkey Kong, Star Fox. We had cartridges that could have extra chips on them to increase the system's power. What a wonderful console.
Mox, what is your favorite Nintendo console?
You didn't ask me. Well, it isn't the Super Nintendo, because I didn't play the Super Nintendo. I feel bad. My first one was the Nintendo 64. But it's the DS, and it's all family. 3DS, 2DS, all the pieces. There's nothing better. Every good game was on it. They made remakes. There's a bunch of Pokemons. There's just so many good games on it. I feel like there's no other system that has as many games on it as the DS did, and every game was good. And there's a lot of ones that made creative use of the 3D, like the dual screen, and then also the 3D was really high quality, especially on the later ones that had the head tracking.
Yeah,
it was so good.
Yeah, that was great. My favorite would be the Game Boy Advance SP, or the SP.
So good.
It fit in your pocket so well. I remember taking that thing everywhere, and it had the lit screen, and it could play all the games, like Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and it was just really solid. I remember when they came out with the Game Boy Micro, which I know a lot of people really like. And
wait, people like the Micro? I thought you were going to say I know a lot of people hate, and then you said and I was
Oh yeah, that's
stunned.
got a cult following.
Oh my gosh,
What?
It does. Even though it only plays GBA games.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, there was just so many bangers on the Game Boy Advance, and that console, I just love it so much. Still have it. It's at home somewhere.
Do you have the revision, the final revision with the DS screen?
I do. I don't know. I might actually not know it, because I have a late version of it.
The final version of it, people actually seek these out pretty hardcore, so they've become kind of rare. Has, instead of a front lit screen, it's got a backlit screen that they had been using for the DS, and it looks really nice.
I'll have to check actually, because I got it late, so it's possible for sure. So if that was our answer to that question. If you have a question that you'd like to ask the group here, feel free to post it in the Bombchu Discord or in one of the comments below in the VOD. But before we get started, we're going to go over what the options were, even though we've already said in the last episode. But if you're coming in now, you'll know that the options were God of War 2018, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and Wind Waker HD. And the vote landed on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and this is part 2, which is our first 2-part episode that we've done. So this will be really interesting to see how this goes. If you were wanting a different game, though, you can join us over in the Bombchu Discord to cast your vote. You can find a link to the Bombchu Discord in the stream by typing !Bombchu, or a link in the description of the VOD version that will be on YouTube. Now, I have another question for you guys, besides Jedi Fallen Order, what have you been playing, Mox?
I opened and went through the character creator of Cyberpunk. And then I know. And then I went right back to Final Fantasy 14.
I don't blame you, to be honest.
Well, I mean, they were like, oh, did you know in your menu there's a ton of lore that you can read? And then I was reading the lore, and then I was like, my God, this is like a tabletop game. I had no idea. And then I was reading all that, and then it was more interesting than the game, so I closed the game.
It's interesting how, like, as soon as you start playing that game, there's like a database, like, I guess section in the menu, and it's like just instantly filled with stuff about like every car and everything. And I like to read that stuff, so it's kind of overwhelming, but it's great.
And if you got the physical copy, it came with a bunch of information to read as well. Yeah. So much.
Yeah. What have you been playing, Austin?
I have been working on Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, slowly trying to work my way through that series. Every couple of years, I'll work up the nerve to start working on another one. So, I've been traveling the seas and making my way through. I like parts of it. I like it a lot more than 3, that's for sure. It still has. I've every game I have issues with climbing and the free running, and those are still present here. So, looking forward to hitting a point in the series where that is no longer a problem, but we'll see if that happens.
It was that game. I forget what game it was being compared to, but when you try to run through deep water, your character is like, like just trudging through it like you would in real life run through deep water. Whereas there's another game it compared it to. It's probably Cyberpunk, to be mean, where you just like run through it as if it were nothing.
Yeah, you do.
Everyone loves
it's funny.
Everyone loves the ships. People were mad that they didn't bring them back in other games. That was another one with a cult following.
Yeah.
So after I do this one, I'm going to play Rogue, which I know a lot of people have not played, but
I've played some of it.
Okay. It sounded like that was basically Black Flag 2.
Rogue was actually, I would say it's like a Black Flag 0.5. So it was made, and it's not like a bad game or anything, but it was
1.5 or 0.5.
I would say 0.5.
Because then that's less than Black Flag.
Well, the reason why I'm saying that is because Rogue was made to, if I'm remembering correctly, it was only available on like the last gen consoles. So Xbox One and PS4 were coming out, and they had Black Flag, but they still wanted to like make a game, another game, and they wanted it to be like on those consoles so that they would sell. And so they would sell copies, and so that's why it's only available on those consoles, and it never got ported, and why it was made when it was. Because I believe it came after Black Flag.
Yeah, it was at the same time as Unity. So Unity was not on the last gen, and that was kind of their way to backfill.
Yeah. I've also been playing some Cyberpunk, and I've been doing this like 3 strikes and you're out sort of situation where I'll play it, and if I see like 3 really bad bugs that are kind of taking me out of the experience, I'll just put it down till there's a next patch. I'm on strike 2 so far of this playthrough that I'm going through.
Okay, but the bugs are so funny. What have your bugs been?
A lot of people floating in cars, like they should be in a car and they're not, and then I'll drive around them, but I won't drive far enough around them because there's an invisible car there, and then I'll hit the invisible car even though it won't make any noise or anything, and then the police will be after me because I hit an invisible car that I don't know how like long this car or short this car is. So that's been really annoying. But we're not here to cover the latest gossip around Cyberpunk or talk about these other games. We're here to talk about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is a third-person action-adventure game developed by Respawn, which is located in Sherman Oaks, California, and published by Electronic Arts. And this is a recap. We kind of already went through this in the last episode, but I'm just going to go over it again. It was released November 15th, 2019 on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and it came to Stadia a year later. So here's some games that were coming out in 2019, just to set your mind into what was going on then, because it was a whole year ago, and we all know 2020 has been a very long year. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, Untitled Goose Game, Outer Wilds, Beat Saber, Death Stranding, Control, Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers, and many, many more. And of course, there were some hardware releases such as the Valve Index, the Switch Lite, and the Xbox SAD. The game was created in the engine of Unreal, the Unreal Engine 4. And that's just like a general overview of the game. So last episode, we kind of talked about the, like who made the game and the people that were involved and who was involved in the music and like how did it come to be and some little things about it. If you're interested in that, the first episode is up on YouTube, so you can go back and watch that and check it out. But we did not talk about the release and reception of the game. So we're going to do that this episode in part 2. So we're just going to talk a little bit about the release cycle because I think it's interesting. So this game was announced at E3 2018. Now it came out in 2019, and that is, I feel like, the sweet spot for game announcement to game release. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, except this had been so
rumored.
People knew about it for so long. Everyone knew Respawn was working on a Star Wars game. Yeah, and I guess they didn't officially reveal it until 2018, but everyone knew they were working on an action adventure Star Wars game. So
True.
It's like, I don't know.
But I feel like a year is a really good, like, hey, here's an announcement. Hey, here's the game in a year versus, what we get today. Like sometimes it's 7 years.
Oh my God.
Or sometimes it's like, it's out today.
Yeah.
I don't mind the out today. Then it's like when Taylor Swift drops her albums. Everybody's like, it's exciting.
Yeah. That was
sure.
exciting.
For some things, I feel like you want to build up some hype though, like for like the really, really big profile games.
Okay, yeah. we haven't learned our lesson from Cyberpunk.
A little hype. I'm not saying 7 years of hype.
Okay, or however many years Star Citizen has been in development.
Oh, geez. Oh, Mox, did you have to open that can of worms right here?
Sorry, I was just been in the news a lot. Keep going.
Okay, so at E3 2019, 1 year later, they showed a 15-minute demo, and then 2 weeks after that, they showed a 25-minute extended demo of that 15-minute one. The game was released, November 15th, like we said, and it was released, and we kind of talked about this a bit, how it was like a little rushed.
Mm-hmm.
But it was released 2 weeks before The Rise of Skywalker. And I think that was definitely part of them rushing this game, right? Not just for the holidays, but also trying to get ahead of this movie so that, Star Wars game's out. Oh, the movie is now out. Oh, okay, now I want to play the game, helps
and
with
The Mandalorian as well with all that.
Oh, yeah. And the Stadia version was received quite well, which is good. The game received 8s and 9s from various news outlets. It had incredible launch weeks in Japan and UK. It was the top selling game of the week it came out in Japan, and it was the second top selling game of the week it came out in the UK, as far as physical sales go. EA confirmed that the game had the fastest selling digital launch for any Star Wars game within its first 2 weeks of sale.
I mean, is that surprising? I don't know. I feel like Star Wars games haven't traditionally been like, oh man, such a good game. Let me play that game. Other than like Star
Force
Wars
Unleashed was pretty exciting at the time when it came out.
I'm also surprised it beat Battlefront and Battlefront 2, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Those were pretty heavily hyped.
Yeah. Yeah, but the game sold 8 million copies by the end of January 2020, which exceeded EA's expectations. Like, what were they? Like, were they imagining this game wasn't going to sell that much? I was really shocked by that. And it sold more than 10 million units by March 31st of 2020. The game was nominated for several awards and won Adventure Game of the Year at the DICE Awards. So,
what did it beat out? Do you remember?
What did it beat out? No, I don't remember. I don't.
It's no big deal.
that would have been next time. That would have been good to know, actually. The thing is, with these games that are, like, I'll say popular, they're usually nominated for a lot of stuff from a lot of different, I don't know what you would call them, award organizations. I feel like DICE and the Game Awards are like the big ones. So that's why I said that it won Adventure Game of the Year for DICE, and I'm not sure like what else was nominated, but it did win some other awards for some other things as well.
I pulled it up. It beat out Death Stranding, Luigi's Mansion 3, Resident Evil 2, and Link's Awakening. The remake.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, 2 remakes, right?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, good whole remakes. All right, so I'm gonna throw on the spoiler tag here. Okay, and we're gonna go into the story. And Mox, as our story expert, please interrupt whenever I goof.
Oh, you know I will.
Oh, you will. So after Seer and Grease rescue Cal, you return to Kashyyyk to meet with Tarful.
Kashyyyk, which has 3 Ys. No word should have that many Ys in it. Keep going.
Who instructs him to investigate the top of the origin tree. And
now, just a quick thing. Tarful is the only normal-looking Wookiee in this game. All the other ones look bizarre, and one of them stands next to him, and Tarful's looking great. He's got this gray mane. He looks like he's straight out of the movies, and he got one of the respawn Wookiees standing next to him, and it's just it's almost like the meme, like how it started, how it's going.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Or like the man she told you not to worry about.
Yeah. Jeez.
Sorry, continue.
No, you're good. So luckily you encountered this super dope bird.
Love that bird.
It's called Shio, also 3 Ys, who helps you get to the top of the tree. You also gain the ability to dive underwater at the origin tree as well. You get that like that device they use in the Phantom Menace,
the rebreather or whatever.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense scientifically, but whatever. Keep going.
Magic.
Okay, we'll get there. We'll get to the magic.
At the top of the tree, you end up finding another like recording of Cordova saying that an astrium, which is this like, I don't know, ancient thing that you need, can be found in a Zepho tomb on Dathomir, which is the planet where Darth Maul's from, which is crazy that you get to go there and see people that look like Darth Maul. However, before you are able to leave, you're attacked by the Ninth Sister, whom Cal defeats. And
handily.
I should say that you also get... Don't you get the double-sided lightsaber?
You get the dual saber like right before that fight.
Yeah.
Or
right before.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
Just a quick thing. You can get that double lightsaber early.
What?
I found out. I was arguing with a friend of mine. He was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Why do they give you access to Dathomir so early?" And he was like, "Oh, you can get the double lightsaber there." And I was like, "No, you get that right before the Ninth Sister fight." And apparently, if you go to Dathomir before then, you can walk out of your ship and grab a double saber upgrade really fast. And that's really the only reason to go there early at all. Because everything is locked off to you until you get stuff from later in the story.
Yeah. That's interesting. But the enemies are also tougher there, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a risk reward.
But you go off the ship and it's like right around the corner. There's a double saber upgrade.
What?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So you go to after the Ninth Sister, you go to Dathomir, and you're like exploring Dathomir, and you end up running into the Ninth Sister, Marin, who hates the Jedi. She blames them for the massacre of her people that happened during the Clone Wars, and she tries to keep you away from Dathomir with an army of like revenants, like zombie type, and they're all males, which I think the Society of Dathomir is probably very matriarchal. Am I saying that right? Yeah.
I didn't think that they were... I thought they were just people. And then the later ones. Sorry, go ahead.
There's like Night Sisters and there's Night Brothers. And so like the Night Brothers are the ones who are alive and coming at you. But the Night Sisters, she summons, they're like zombified things that come out of those egg pods.
But you fight both, right?
Well, yeah, but the Night Brothers are alive. They're the ones that are small, species. Species small.
You end up fighting Gorgara, which is this giant bat thing. And that was an interesting fight that we can talk about later. And after experiencing a flashback from your former master, which happens right after that fight, after experiencing that flashback, your lightsaber is destroyed. And in this flashback, you're like running away from Order 66 whenever they execute that order, which is like kill all the Jedi, and you're like trying to run away, and your master sacrifices himself for you, and you feel like, oh, if I would have been there earlier, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. Your lightsaber gets destroyed. You then, like, after your lightsaber is destroyed, I think it's like right after that, you meet Jedi Malicos, who crash landed on Dathomir during the Purge, and you learn that he's been seeking to learn the magic of the Night Sisters. And over time, he's just been growing like completely insane. And he's also starting to be more on the dark side of the Force.
The implication is that Dathomir like turns you to the dark side. I believe the magic that the sisters do is based on the dark side of the Force. So it's like...
Yeah, it's supposed to be like such a depressing place that it drives people insane.
I can see that. It was not like a great... I mean, it didn't look beautiful or anything. Malco like offers like to teach you his dark powers, but you're like, nah, I'm good. Then Marin comes and like attacks both of you, and you run away. You go back to the Mantis. You have some conversations with Seer about where she like goes into more detail how she cut herself off from the Force, and she talks about how she kind of gave in to the dark side a bit. And then you go to a planet called Ilum to rebuild your lightsaber because you need another crystal, a kyber crystal. So you go there to rebuild the lightsaber. You find the crystal. You then go back to Dathomir, where you retrieve the astrium, and you also overcome your guilt from the whole like you weren't quick enough to save your master stuff. And you end up having to fight Malicos, and Marin helps you in this fight. Unexpectedly, you didn't think like she would aid you, but she does.
You're missing the point that Malicos, when he came to the planet, convinced her that it was the Jedi who killed her sisters.
Right.
But actually, it was not the Jedi. It was everybody else,
Yeah.
Sidious, the whole thing.
And so then Marin's like, Malicos is a jerk, and he needs to die. And so then you guys fight Malicos.
Okay, but she says it in her weird, like, Slavic accent. You got to do that.
I'm not doing that.
Okay. Her accent's cool, I mean to say.
It is.
It's odd that it's Slavic because she's from whatever that planet is, Dathomir.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, keep going.
Marin joins you on your crew, and she's actually not the only person, or I shouldn't say person, thing that will join you on your crew. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? No,
I did not get it. I read about it afterwards, and I did not.
No.
One of those cute little from the planet of what's the planet? Bogano. One of the cute little like fox things will join your crew as well if you help save it. It'll be like a stowaway. Yeah, just really cute. I found that out later. You could have done it in the beginning. It would have been great, but like, yeah. Anyway, and there's conversation around it. Oh, so great. So you go back to Bogano. You unlock the vaults, but as you unlock the vault, Trilla comes. Surprise, surprise. Attacks you. Steals the holocron, and then you're like, man, this sucks. So you go back to the Mantis, and Seer's there, and Cal's like feeling really bad because he's like, man, like I was so close, and Trilla stole the holocron. I'm a terrible Jedi, blah blah blah. And then Seer's like, nah, I'm gonna grant you the rank of Jedi Knight. So she takes Trilla's lightsaber because Trilla left without it. And
well, that was kind of how she managed to steal the holocron. Basically, she ends up letting you grab her lightsaber, and so Cal is force sensitive in a way that he can sense the history of objects.
Yes.
And so that's how he kind of gets to see everything that happened to Trilla, and so it distracts him so much, and is such an intense memory that's how she gets away.
Well, she even like says something, I forget what she said, but like, enjoy what you're about to see, and then like runs away.
Yeah. So you have her lightsaber.
It was a sad story. I didn't like her story. It was very sad. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. Seer grants you the rank of Jedi Knight, and you plan to infiltrate the fortress, which is on Mustafar's oceanic moon, Nur. And so you go there because you know that she's going to be there because Seer tells you, like, I know where she is. And so you guys go there, and you end up battling your way through the fortress. You defeat Trilla after a long fight, and you retrieve the holocron. And then we're going to stop, and we're going to let everybody know that this is a double spoiler section. This is a
double secret probation spoilers.
So, like, you may be like, oh, yeah, I don't mind this Star Wars game being spoiled for me. But now, like, you may actually want to walk away if you do plan on playing it, if you care about Star Wars lore.
It's a big moment.
If you hope that they make a sequel, etc., you may want to walk away. All right, we're going to move on. Those people have now walked away that have wanted to walk away. And, yeah, so what happens is that Seer tries to reconcile with her former student, and she's talking with Trilla.
It was weird how she got there, but anyway, keep going.
They were like both on Nur, like fighting through stuff.
Why was this the time that she's like, I'm here?
Why did she show up now? Yeah, true. Yeah.
Anyway, keep going.
And all of a sudden, behind Trilla, right whenever she's about to like change her mind,
she's coming around.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Darth Vader shows up out of nowhere, uses his lightsaber, stabs it through her, kills Trilla for her failure.
Tosses her body aside like a rag doll.
Like she's nothing, like she's trash. And he nearly kills Seer and BD1. And if BD1 would have died, nah.
End of the game.
That monster.
I would have been, yeah. That's
Close
how you know you're evil. Like, Jesus. Man, it was so sad, though. Oh my gosh, it was so sad. So you you then barely escape from...
While Vader is chasing your ass down.
Yeah, and in the like menu system, you can see like a little bit of information about every boss or every like enemy. Mm-hmm. Darth Vader, it's like, all you can do is run. Like, that's all the tips are for him. So you're trying to escape the fortress, and Darth Vader's like after you, and you end up like having to, like, Seer ends up having this moment where she's like kind of giving in to the dark side. You guys remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And like Cal's like, Seer, don't do it. Like, you're better than that. And all of a sudden, like, she's like getting more angry. And then Cal decides like, okay, I'm just going to drown everybody. And he like makes the water come in. Darth Vader's trying to like hold it back with his force powers, which is insane because he's super strong. And
well, wait, I guess you omitted that when Vader got there, he like tossed her aside as well, and you thought she's gone. He like threw her off of a cliff.
Oh yeah, that did happen.
I thought Seer was gone.
Yeah. That's true. That did happen.
And
so,
then
like,
she pops back, and you're like, "Wah!"
Yeah. So you're running away from Vader the whole time. You think Seer's gone. Like, it's over, and like you're having Grease is like asking you like, "Hey, are you guys almost done down there? Like, what's going on?" And you're like, "Seer didn't make it." And then she pops up. Yeah, you're right. She pops up and you're like, oh, she's back. But then she's like, I'm evil Seer and I'm going to go into the dark side. And you're like, no. And so Cal brings in the water. You grab Seer, who's like exhausted because she just had like some mental craziness inside her head with all like the force and everything and the dark side and stuff.
And I'm sure Vader's like egging her on, or
yeah. He was like, please do it. And so you end up like grabbing Seer. You put the thing that she can breathe underwater on her, and you like swim up, and you're like about out of air. And who comes to save you? Marin. She like dives in. She's like, yo, homies, I'm here. Yay. She like grabs you guys and everything, brings you to the top.
The only thing she does to help you is that
whoa, fight. We're getting there.
She does another thing? No.
No, in fact, when you're leaving after the Malkos fight, she's just like, you make it back to the ship.
Yeah.
She just like watches while all the Night Sisters attack you.
Yeah.
I guess I need to say she cloaked the ship. She cloaked it just so you could get it to
we
her.
forgot to say that. Yeah. The whole reason they could get to her was because she cloaked the ship. That's right.
She did she had to like ask, like speak to her, dead sisters and like conjure like her mother and like do this weird thing that cloaked the ship.
Yeah.
So they could get through the planet. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
No, and you get on back to the Mantis. And Cal, you have the holocron. And what Cal realizes is that if anyone gets the holocron, they could easily gather the Jedi children and kill them. And so he destroys the holocron, believing it'll be better for the children to discover their own destinies than having him go or the Empire go and discover them. I don't like this because I feel like he should have at least memorized where a couple were. Just try it out on there's probably 30 kids or something. Try it out on 2. Just take 2, see how it goes.
I'm interrupting you. The implication was that by having this list and then collecting these kids and then bringing them into the Jedi for service against their will, that's they don't have a choice in that. So by destroying it, if they decide to seek out the new Jedi Order, or if their Force sensitivity brings them to the Jedi Order, then it's it was meant to be. But otherwise, it's their choice to live as they see fit. They don't have to be a Jedi just because they're Force sensitive. Yeah. I feel like the Cal especially was traumatized by his training. But
why can't you just ask them? Why can't you just go and be like, "Yo, Mox, you're Force sensitive. Would you like to be a Jedi?" And if you're like, "Nah, it's not for me."
That worked out really great for Anakin.
No. Fair enough. Okay, so your mission's complete. You destroy the holocron. You're not going to track down no kids. And then Cal's like, all right, crew, where should we go? Well, actually, Seer's like, all right, Grease, you're done. Thank you for everything. And Grease is like, oh, I'm going to stick around. And the mission's complete, and Cal's like, hey, where should we go next? And then credits. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ending was kind of stupid.
It was weird because it was so much build up for then you get it and then it's that was it.
They killed my girl Trilla.
Yeah, Trilla was a bae too. And they
the moment she was coming around, it was just Yeah. I feel like anyone who goes to the dark side just can't be redeemed or without dying. You know what I mean?
Darth Vader,
it's anyone who's
Trilla. Other people probably
that I won't spoil for other media. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Darth, before we undo the double spoilers, I really liked the voice that they got for Darth Vader. I was sad that it wasn't James Earl Jones, but he did a good impression.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
It's also interesting that I feel like since when Force Awakens came out, they declared anything that wasn't inside this set of stuff was no longer canon, right?
Correct.
They had all this new canon stuff. I feel like in the new canon, Darth Vader is way stronger than he ever was in any of the old stuff. Anytime he shows up, it's this massive event where it's just oh my god, and he's pissed and destroying everything, and it's just this everyone we have to escape. There's nothing we can do.
He's pretty I've been reading the comics and he's pretty strong, but he's not I wouldn't say that describes him well in his own in the comic book series that they're making right now, which is canon. He also gets destroyed in the comic book series for some stuff that happens that was kind of interesting. He basically gets destroyed by the Emperor at some point. But of course the Emperor's strong, but I don't know. Yeah, but I know it. Yeah, I can see it though. At least with all the TV shows and movies, Darth Vader's seen it as this crazy, almost immortal, super powerful being.
I like how he was presented in this game because Cal is a Padawan. He hasn't had much training. I'm thinking of even the movies, the people he mostly interacts with are non-Jedi, because the plural of Jedi is Jedi.
Yeah.
So, of course, he's more powerful than those people. I feel like it's appropriate.
Oh, I mean, I like it.
Oh,
it
okay.
just is something that I've noticed was ever since like these new movies started coming out. Like he seems a lot stronger than he used to be.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was the spoilers. I'm gonna turn off the tag, and we can go into our.
What? I haven't said all of my opinions yet. Hold on.
Oh, okay. All right. Story girl.
Okay.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I loved Darth Vader showing up. I know it's kind of like almost like a meme at this point, like to bring him in for like 2 seconds in a video game. He's like,
it was still super cool though.
Yeah, it was like my heart
really cool.
stopped. I don't even like Star Wars that much, and I was like, oh my god, why is he here? It was just like they did such a great job with like bringing the music in, and the music didn't precede him.
Yeah,
but for maybe like a millisecond. So, because his music is so recognizable that you'd be like, oh, here comes, Darth Vader. But it was like he's approaching as the music starts, and it like changed. It was like a gradual change into the music rather than just like coming out of nowhere. That's how they do it in the movies too. I thought it was very just like masterful. And it didn't feel out of place, especially because like the Inquisitors are his order. So it made sense that he would be there to kind of punish Trilla for almost turning back. So anyway, I thought it was really cool. But then the ending just fell flat after that really great moment. I wish there was something, I don't know, like I feel like Star Wars is important because there's always sacrifice with victory. And other than Trilla, there wasn't a lot of sacrifice with that victory. Like everybody got what they wanted. So I wish it just felt a little hollow.
All right.
I was also kind of wondering why that fight took place in the room with the chair. The chair had like it never came up at all. It was just like, hey, here, remember that chair that we turned Trilla in? I thought they would try to act like they were going to turn you or something like that.
I guess,
but it just did not come up at all.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Now that you say that.
Yeah.
Okay, that was it. That's all I had to say.
All right. Any more spoilery stuff, Mr. Austin?
I think that's it for me.
Okay. Let's go on to personal takes and what we thought of the game overall. Let's start with you, Austin.
Okay. So the last time for the first half of the game, I found myself a little bit like it was getting better as I went through, but like the beginning was kind of dull in terms of combat. We started to get more puzzles and things like that. I feel like in the second half, there were a lot less puzzles.
Yeah.
And the combat got turned to 11.
Yep.
Especially once you get to Dathomir.
Yep.
Right?
I agree.
And I ended up actually really liking that. I think one thing I really wish there had been more of, I wish we could have seen another one of the sisters from that order.
Yeah.
Because like we get to do the ninth sister and then the second sister.
Yeah,
and that's about it. But those were two really cool fights.
Yeah, where's 3 through 8 and 1?
And there's brothers too.
Oh, I didn't know about the brothers. Yeah, that would be cool to explore. So maybe for the sequel, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was weird how different the second half and the first half were from each other.
Yeah. Pacing wise.
Yeah. In this half, we got some really cool stuff like the dual saber upgrade, and then like the split saber on top of that. Yeah. I'm still I don't understand why they introduced Dathomir so early. I know you can get like the early double saber upgrade from there, but like that's it. And it's like, okay, why? Almost everything that you want to go and explore there, or like even if you can get to certain things, like all the chests there require you to have new abilities from BD1 that you don't get until later. So it's like, why? I don't know why they opened that up so early. Very weird.
Yeah. I was not a fan of that as well. Like it didn't make sense to me. Yeah. Because the whole game's linear. Like, why are you gonna like tease us with some non-linear stuff and then be like, well, JK, like you have to follow this path like step for step?
Yeah, and I mean, like you can go re-explore the old planets.
True. And
stuff like that once you get new powers, which can be
not rewarding at all.
It's not rewarding.
Yeah.
All of the reasons to go explore almost everything that you find, almost every chest will give you cosmetics that don't do anything.
Whoa. I'm hearing a lot of negativity towards cosmetics.
The cosmetics are great. Like, that's great. It's just when that's almost all that you're getting out of the chests, like that.
Like, why?
Sucks.
And it's tiny things that don't. Like, okay, so like the cosmetic. Sorry, the customization.
Change the hilt of your saber.
Yeah.
Haha.
Like, I changed like my outfit, like what Cal wears, because like you see that a lot, you know? Like, that's a pretty big thing that you see. You don't see like the button that your lightsaber has on it, or like the top or the bottom or the middle or what material it's made out of.
But you know it's there.
Oh my gosh, no.
Don't walk away. Stay here.
I couldn't help myself from going to grab chests that I saw,
Same.
but I never found a reason to just be like, I want to go find chests.
Same.
Right?
Same.
The only time, like maybe, I feel like it was maybe less than 5% of things that you would find would be if you found a golden chest, you know, you'd get your extra stim. Or if you found a really big force echo, then you would, if you found multiple of those, then you would get either a health or a force upgrade.
You also got some
right?
experience.
Sure. After a certain point, it was just like I had all the skills that I wanted, and I really didn't care about the ones that were left over.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The chests were really bad.
Yeah, I agree.
They were really bad. And I know some people who 100% of the game after they finished the boss. When I finished the boss, I was like, yeah, I don't want to go look for anything else.
I uninstalled like right after.
Yeah. Same. They have like a new game plus mode, which I didn't bother to check out.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you get to keep your cosmetics.
So that was
it's like, great. Thanks.
That was added as an update from on May the 4th this year. They added New Game Plus, and then they added this like create your own. They added like trials, like, oh, can you beat these waves of enemies without getting hit, etc. But then they also added, hey, create your own trial. Like, you could fight like, you know how you could fight like your master if you wanted 5 of them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of silly.
That's pretty cool. It definitely took away from a story moment when you're going to like pick the color of a new of a different saber, and it's just like, well, I can change this literally any time, and I have been able to since the beginning of the game. So,
but at the time, you don't know that. You think that whatever color you pick, that's just what you get in addition to the entry colors. I was like, this is just what I'm gonna have
permanently. And they're just like, no, you can pick any of these. You're good.
What color did you pick?
I don't remember. I think I picked purple because I wanted to be like Mace Windu.
No, that's his color.
What color did you pick, Mox?
Always the blue.
I picked cyan, which I think is probably the one that you picked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The blue.
Yeah, the baby blue.
It's the color.
It's pretty.
I feel like no. I'm pretty sure only Mace Windu has the purple.
Yeah.
It's like
that's why I picked it.
You can't. It's betraying him. Sorry, keep going.
No, it's honoring him.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the bosses. So I complained last time about it getting a little too easy.
Yeah.
And this time, it was not too easy. Especially like once I was going through Dathomir, I died quite a bit. They would swarm you with enemies, and some tough ones. The bosses towards the end started to get pretty difficult, to where, like, the final boss, I was seething with rage a few times.
Same.
But it was, I felt good after beating it. I noticed while fighting Malicos that the like during when they cut the cutscenes aren't pre-rendered, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
But they use different character models.
Yeah.
And so, like, while I was fighting him, it was like he looked really good, and all of a sudden it cut to gameplay where he was saying something to me, and his face was just like, "Oh God!"
And it does that weird, like, blurry camera thing.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
Yeah, I enjoyed the game more in the second half. I don't think it's an 8 or a 9 for me. I'd probably give it a 7 just because of all the bugs and the presentation issues that I had, along with just not having any reason to want to go back to explore.
Yeah.
Like that was just not a rewarding experience. And so if you're gonna have it just be the most rewarding part be getting through the story, then I wish more of the story had been more interesting, because there were interesting parts, but like there were long stretches of not interesting parts in between there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Mox, how about you?
Okay. I have a lot of opinions about the story, of course, which I feel like is probably not too much in the hands of the developers, given that it is Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I'm going to assume that they had like a greater than 50% input.
Okay.
And I know they didn't create some of these aspects, but I didn't like how, like, I don't know, the Star Wars is very sci-fi. Everything's like computers and angular and, robots.
Droids?
Yeah, and androids and stuff like that. And then when we got to Dathomir, it was all like magic, undead, like dead bodies, stuff like that. It felt very out of place, which I'm sure is just how that planet is. It's part of the
lore.
The lore. But I didn't like it, and I didn't like that whole section. And I feel like it was trying to be spooky, like this is the horror section of the game, but it didn't do that very well, which I thought was like a greater problem with the game. It didn't really know what kind of game it wanted to be. The first half was very like Uncharted. It was puzzles. It was, walking around doing those parkour and like, weird stuff like that. And then the end, like you guys were saying, is just all fighting. And I feel like it kind of just like maybe like a different person took over halfway through and they were like, oh no, we're getting rid of these puzzles. We're going to do fighting now, which felt lame. And then other than that, I didn't like the Ninth Sister. Her like attitude was very not Star Warsy. I feel like Star Wars is very like everybody speaks in almost like a regal, like Bible tone, and then she was just very blasé and I don't know, like informal and just kind of like rude.
Yeah,
I didn't like it. It felt very out of place to me. I was glad that
might be an aspect of her race, though. She's like a troll ogre kind of race, which you would usually associate with being gruff and less thought out.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it didn't feel very Star Wars to me. Maybe I'm just imposing what I think Star Wars should be on what Star Wars is. And then the last part of like about story was I feel like anytime there's some sort of underwater city, instantly my mind goes to like Rapture in Bioshock.
Yeah.
Yes, and as compared to Soma, which we played before.
Yeah, we did.
I felt like I didn't get a lot of Rapture vibes from Soma. Soma felt like it was its own thing. Like they took the underwater city and made their own thing of it. But this felt very like, like Rapture. It was just Rapture, but
you're talking about Nur, that underwater part. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just kind of boring. It's like they didn't put a lot of like the story guys were like, I'm done with this game. I got to go work on another game, and they got pulled. And all the creative minds left, and all that was left were, people who were like, all right, well, I know how to make the fighting mechanics happen, so let's make that happen.
For a Fortress, that part was like really short compared to the other sections. It also like had a lot of combat that they would give you like a meditation point, like here's a bunch of combat, meditation. Here's a bunch of combat, meditation. Here's a bunch of like over and over. I don't know. Austin?
Maybe I was just dumb. I don't remember hitting any meditation points in there until
there's.
Oh wow! I must have just missed them, because they would be like a hardcore combat section that I would hit before getting to any sort of a. I remember being very tense after a big section, because I was like, I need a meditation point desperately.
Do you remember that room?
I'm out of steps.
Where the like floor kind of opens up. And they're just like constantly sending guys in there. They send the droids that you can hack, and the room up. Yeah. There's a meditation point in there that doesn't show up until after you clear the room, for example. And then after that, you go to like this other place. And then when you're running back, you have to fight some people. Then there's like another meditation spot. Then there's one right before the boss fight.
Yeah. If you want to make that place really fun and tense, don't use the meditation points until the boss.
Oh my gosh, that would have been it. That would have been dumb.
Well, and I had a point about gameplay. I didn't like that. I understand the point of like the red unblockable attacks because you like develop abilities later that you like can do stuff with it. But it did, at the beginning of the game and even towards the end, they were just very helpless feeling, which perhaps was the point. But it was just kind of not fun when you got stuck by them a bunch of times in a row. And also so many bosses left or you left or you never beat a boss. You always were interrupted by someone and then someone else did something. 100% of the time it felt like
very unsatisfying.
Extremely unsatisfying, especially when you're sweating just trying to beat this boss that you've been struggling at for 15 minutes or so, and then you get the health bar down and it's oh, cutscene, what?
Yeah. I mean, I'm spoiling, I don't know, a 20-year-old game, but at the end of Wind Waker, when you stab your sword into Ganon's head and he turns into stone, that's satisfying after this enormous battle and you spent the whole game finding him. Having your...
Well, I guess I don't need to play that anymore.
Oh my gosh. Having all these stupid battles interrupted by other garbage happening or someone else taking the kill or someone else, saving you, that felt very
Wait,
boring.
hold on. In Wind Waker, you fight Ganon? In a Zelda game at the end?
Oh my gosh. No, you fight Ganondorf, I believe. He's not Ganon because he's not a pig.
Okay, but anyway.
Your turn, sorry.
What would you give it? Out of Mox's 10-point and famous 10-point scale, what would you give it?
A 5. I didn't really like it.
Dang, girl.
The first half was an 8, but then with the second half, it was a 5.
Okay, all right. I have words to say about...
Say your words.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. The combat at the beginning was not very satisfying, but towards the end, it was quite satisfying, and you did feel powerful, especially when you're running away from the fortress. You did feel a bit powerful, which was nice, but that was at the very end. And then when you return to Bogano, you do feel, pretty powerful, which is nice. The bosses were quite a struggle. I don't know if that's because I'm just bad, if I just need to get good, but they were tough. Especially the last two. They were pretty tough. I definitely enjoyed the game. I mean, it was super cool to go to Dathomir. The ending, spoiler, was really cool when you saw Redacted. That was really nice. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. I've been listening to it quite a bit, actually. So I would say, for me, it was a 6 or 7 on my scale. But
I thought you were going to give it a way higher score.
No. I have some issues, which I'm about to go through.
Okay. I'm sorry.
When you search through chests underwater, BD1 doesn't go in that chest and look around. But what happens? The chest does its little shaky thing. It acts as if BD1's in there. And that was really not cool.
And Cal's even what'd you find in there?
Oh my gosh. It was the worst.
It's people left the developing crew.
Yeah. It's how did they... I know making games are hard. I understand that, but come on, it's a different space. You're doing different, the customization stuff was terrible. I hated all of it. The only reason I got chests, same reason as Austin. I was just there. They were there. I got them. That was it. The dialogue, there was a lot of dialogue to have. You could talk to the people. Seer, you could have several conversations with her, and Grease, and the Night Sister, and Marin, yeah, and Tarful, and the some other people. But you had to go to them and spam talk button. That was the only way you would hear all the dialogue. I would have loved a Bethesda little select the topic thing, something just so I could know that I exhausted it without having to just spam a button and hope that they tell me something new. And sometimes I would go away and come back and they would have something new to say. I want to know all the stuff that they're I want to hear what they have to say, but I don't want it to be a chore of just spamming one button in hopes that they have something new to tell me.
That was, since I didn't like playing the game, I had watched it for some parts of it, and I really liked that they this person that I watched play it would cut to these conversations that he had always in the ship that obviously were optional, but it seemed like it would be hard to get to.
I also didn't like that whenever you would travel, Grease would always tell you to sit down.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that was really weird.
I was trying to sit down the whole time. And I know what's happening.
He would just like keep talking to you and waiting for the loading spot, and then it'd be like, okay, now that we're loaded in, go ahead and sit down, and we're gonna land you on the planet. It's like, no,
he won't tell you to sit down until the button is there. So like, you can't sit down ahead of time. You're constantly being yelled at to sit down. I'm serious. It took me out of it. I was like,
that pissed me off as well.
I was like, dude, I'm trying to sit down. I can't press the button because you're not loaded in there yet. And then as soon as he loads in, he's like, sit down. It's like. Okay, so there's.
I thought you were going to complain about it's unnatural. It was just kind of not fun in that way. Unnatural.
And I got another thing.
It's also just weird.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like, why would they build it that way?
On the ship, and I recorded this, but I'll have to share them in the Video Game Club Discord. But I started having conversations with people on the ship, and Seer's like, man, it's kind of nice Grease being off the ship now, because. You know, like he's kind of funny, blah blah blah, and they were like just basically talking mad trash on Grease, and he's right behind them. He's not off the ship. They think that we're parked somewhere on some planet, and we're not. And they're just talking mad trash. And Grease is just there, and then you go talk to Grease, and he's like, "Oh, thank you for bringing these plants. I really like you, kid. Things are great." And then you go back to see her, and she's like, "Man, Grease is just terrible. Man, you know, oh, he's one of those guys like you love him, but man, he's so annoying. Blah blah blah." Like,
jeez.
And I'm like, "What?" And Ashley was watching her in this part, and she's like, "This is hilarious."
Poor Grease.
Yeah, but yeah,
he can dish it. He can take it.
He can take it for sure. Is there anything else that you would like to add from your personal takes before wrapping up here?
This didn't change my mind about like Star Trek being better than Star Wars, but I was impressed at how much lore there is. Because, one of the things I appreciate a lot about Star Trek is that you have all these different TV series. So you have like 30 hours times like 6 of material. But, more than 30 hours, like 180 hours times 6. Anyway,
it's like a month worth of content if you watch it back to back.
There's a lot of junk on the Wookiee. What is it called? The Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't like the difference between like what is canon and what is not, because Star Trek has a separate Wikipedia called Memory Alpha.
Memory Beta,
and then
right?
Memory Beta is the other one. However, they don't distinguish it that like separately. On the Wikipedia, and I would have liked to have that distinction because, like, I assume this game is lore and in canon, but there are some there's some items that are like, and this might be something that's lore, but might not be, you know. And when I was reading the Wikipedia, that was my only complaint.
Yeah, it is canon.
Okay,
but yeah. All right. So Austin, you don't have anything else to add, right? You're good.
I think I'm good. I wish they had spent a little more time just polishing it up, or done like a post update where they fixed kind of what they could.
Yeah.
But could have gone from pretty good to really great.
Yeah. So our next game will be, checking the Discord last minute. Ooh. It is going to be. Oh my gosh! So many people voted. That's so great. It is going to be What Remains of Edith Finch by 4 votes ahead of Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
Thank you for not making me play Far Cry 3.
That's a great game.
I don't want to play it.
So thank you everyone for voting in the Discord. We really appreciate it. And thank you everyone for joining as well. The next stream will be on January 3rd at 2 o'clock Eastern, sometime some other time zone. Before we leave, Austin, what is Bombchu working on? What are some updates from the Bombchu? Anything?
Tyler is our newest member of the Bombchu staff.
Yay.
So welcome Tyler to officially to the Bombchu team. We're very excited about that. So
I'm also excited.
Should be leading to some more content on our Twitch. Currently, we do Video Game Club on Tyler's Twitch. We're probably going to be moving that over to the Bombchu Twitch channel.
So please follow Bombchu TV on Twitch.
Yeah, and lots more to come. So we're very excited about that.
Sweet. Yes, I'm very excited. Moss, is there anything that you want to plug? Maybe something completely random, but is there anything that someone should check out that you want to plug?
Final Fantasy 14.
All right. Go play Final Fantasy 14, people. Austin, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you very much for having me.
Of course. And Mox, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm
Tyler, and this was Video Game Club episode 13, and we're out.
Bye.